Oliver had been to the works to be mended. Some troublesome cars tricked him, and the Great Western engine fell into the turntable well. Now Oliver was as good as new, but he was still worried about cars. "I'd rather not use them," he puffed to himself. But the cars sang songs rude and loud. Scruffy, their leader, led the chorus.
Says that he can manage us.
Be everywhere, and everywhere they weren't,
Can manage us. That's the best joke ever.
at last the engines gave up. "We're sorry, Oliver," they said. "It's really my fault," said Oliver sadly. "I shouldn't have fallen in the turn." Soon Toad was explaining his plan, such a thing to Oliver. But Oliver interrupted. "No, Duck, Toad's right. It's really my fault. I must put this trouble right."
I meant no disrespect, you understand.
"Of course not, Toad. Anyway, Driver says the same, and he's arranged it with the station master. Good luck." "So long," smiled Oliver bravely, but he felt dreadfully nervous inside. Oliver marshaled the worst cars 2 by 2.
And if you leave that Scruffy till last, then you'll have him behind you, and you can bump him. Hold back,
Whispered Scruffy.
and pass the word to the others.
But Oliver knew what to do. There was plenty of sand on the rails, and his wheels gripped splendidly. He gave a great heave. Groaned Scruffy.
I don't like this.
"Well done," wailed Then there was trouble. No, sir," said Oliver nervously. Sir Topham Hatt inspected Scruffy. Nowadays, Oliver only takes the cars when the other engines are busy. Again. Scruffy has learned his lesson. Oliver and Douglas paraded past. "Hooray! Hooray!" the engines whistled. As Annie and Clarabelle were going to the big city too, Thomas and Oliver practiced with some other coaches. Thomas grew more and more excited. Too excited for it. "I'm glad I'm a splendid engine," he puffed. "Sir Topham Hatt thinks I'm really useful. I had a race with Bertie once. I whooshed through the tunnel and stopped an inch from the buffers." Then Thomas made his mistake. "Just like this," he boasted.
My chief.
They must be everywhere, squeaked Percy. Oliver and his brake van Toad liked working in the big yards, but one morning Toad noticed that Oliver was unhappy. He decided to find out why. "Oliver, it seems to me that things are not well with you." "You're quite right, Toad. All I do is shunt these freight cars for a nice run. It's what an engine really needs." "Just a Topham Hatt about your problems." But Oliver said nothing. He just grew unhappier, and he was rough with the freight cars. See, Percy's far too busy to be... And Oliver bumped the freight cars hard. "Workman, it'll take a long time to repair this turntable, which will cause confusion and delay." That night, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "You shall work the mail train for a while." "Box." "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir," said Oliver sadly. Oliver smiled, but he still felt he had let everyone down. They made good speed until it was time to collect some important mail from Harold the helicopter.
Come on, Harold.
At last, Harold landed. "Sorry I'm late, Great Western. Had a bit of a problem with one of my... I was meant to be up. You know how it is." Soon they were on their way again. Oliver didn't realize. Oliver whistled several times, but the signal stayed. "There must be something wrong with that signal. We'll go slowly and stop by the signal box," said his driver. But they never reached it. An old track. They were going the wrong way. Oliver's fireman was concerned. We need to find a water tower soon. Instead, they saw an old station. Ahead. I'm just glad to see you are all safe. When he returned, he spoke to found another attraction for our island. Visitors can have tea and crumpets there. Sighed Oliver. Getting lost can be interesting, but being found is much nicer. Especially when it makes an engine feel really useful. One day, he decided to talk to Oliver, the Great Western Engine. Backwards, Mr. Oliver. I have forward thinking. Oliver wanted to help. You're a very useful brake van, Toad. You help me brake, and you keep my freight cars in order when we go down hills. A lesson. The freight cars decided to carry out their plan when they reached Gordon's Hill. When they were nearly at the top, they played their tricks. Ready, steady, go! And they jerked, which broke. Meanwhile, Oliver was racing to the rescue. I must catch Toad. I must! Oliver arrived, and when he saw Toad, he could only smile. A pond is... That night, Toad spoke to Oliver. That's all right, Toad. So what do you think of going forwards? But from now on, I'll be happy to look forward to the future. Busy going back.